They did a video on Jane Cargill. Did you see it? Her lifting weights and the whole, why didn't they do this for a few weeks before she just walked out unannounced on television and killed her career forevermore with the worst interview known to man? Why didn't they tell us she was someone first, show us videos like this to get us interested, and then if we'd have seen shit like this for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, and then she comes out and has fumble mouth and can say suey if the hogs had her, we might have forgiven her. I'm sure you liked it.
It was a good video to build her up just out of nowhere here on the show. But again, it's booking in reverse order. We're exposed to her randomly showing up in the ring to challenge Cody to wrestle Shaq. And then we get 2 months of nothing. And then here she is in the gym. And boy, can she lift weights.
And meanwhile, Shaq is no longer mad at Cody's wife for throwing water in his face. He's mad at Cody because he's a cupcake. And Shaq and his friend Jane are going to get even with Cody and pumpkin pie. Cupcakes and pumpkin pie. No wonder Shaq's out of shape. He's got sweets on the brain. Tony Schiavone was in the ring with Darby Allin and Sting. And it snowed again. And they come out to the ring again. And they're standing, and Tony starts speaking, and Darby Allin doesn't say a freaking word when Team Taz interrupts on the screen again, this time from the parking lot. They're not allowed in the building because last week they beat up the concession stand people that were set up out in the parking lot. The reason why they beat up the concession stand people out in the parking lot was because for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, every time Taz, the human suplex machine, and Powerhouse Hobbs, the 280-pound badass, and fucking Cage, the goddamn jacked up get my shit in bodybuilder, and Ricky Starks, the fucking in shape Latino superstar, and Taz's son, we haven't discovered what he does or why he's there, but 5 or 6 grown men are run out of the building without even having to be touched by a 150-pound skateboarder and a 61-year-old senior citizen with a baseball bat that he doesn't act like he's going to use every week. So now they're in the parking lot. Did I summarize that correctly?
Yes.
And they, in the parking lot, explain exactly what they're going to fucking do. A pretty good promo. The premise is preposterous, and they have to explain it while they're out there, and et cetera, et cetera. And basically, when they're done, Darby Allin never does say a goddamn word. Sting takes the microphone and says he'll be there next week to make sure that Darby Allin's match is one-on-one and Team Taz doesn't fucking try to interfere. Next week, Darby Allin is wrestling Jelly Nutella. Now, I know they're probably trying to use the fucking dates up on Jelly's contract so they can get the fuck rid of him because he's so embarrassing, right? Even they can't show him often. But Sting has to show up when Darby Allin's wrestling a job guy to make sure that it's one-on-one because Team Taz might run in and interfere when Team Taz has yet to do jack shit of damage to any of these people because all they do is run when they see Sting. And then, who was it, Taz or whoever said, we don't see an icon anymore. Well, Sting's big go-home line was, don't see an icon anymore? Take a closer look. Only he didn't deliver it that well. Darby never spoke. He's just the fucking mute stepchild, the delinquent that Sting has adopted from the boys' home run by Father Flanagan. Fucking hell. So, what'd you think of that?
Not much. It takes forever to get anywhere with this feud. Taz and his goons are always running away. They're in trouble for beating up the people in the parking lot, so they're still in the parking lot. I don't know.
They're still with the company.
If I had
they beat up the fucking concession stand.
If I had Sting, I would try to find a way to get more value out of him. I don't know what that would be, but this isn't it for me. I don't know what they're doing with Darby right now. Team Taz has potential, and they're always treated like job guys on the run. Not crazy about all this. Not crazy about it. And it snows. Again, there's not even any fans there. I mean, it's like barely any people there. The Young Bucks, they're shooting off fake dollar bills with the Young Bucks. It's snowing for Sting. Save it for when there are fans there.
The fake dollar bills they shoot off for the Young Bucks come from their Monopoly game when they were kids that they would play. All right, next up, I was torn on this one. Dr. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. I think Thunder Rosa is a tremendous performer and wrestler. Has good matches. Dr. Britt Baker, I was a fan of until they botched her booking as a babyface. Then I became a fan of hers as a heel because she was so entertainingly bitchy, and I liked Reba. And then they did the tooth and nail match, and I instituted the tooth and nail rule where it was so offensive that I would never watch anybody that had anything to do with the whole goddamn thing ever again. And I've kept to that rule, and I flipped a coin. I said, I'm running late, so I zipped it. What the fuck did I miss? Was Thunder Rosa any good?
You missed maybe, depending on what you think of that main event, maybe the best match on this show.
Well, then I just missed the best match on the show.
One of the best Britt Baker matches that we've ever seen, because she seemed a little wonky in the ring in the past. But I don't know if it's that she's getting better or that Thunder Rosa's that good.
Thunder Rosa's that good.
It was really good. It was a really, really good match.
Well, and I wish they hadn't misused their talent in the past so badly by putting them in such preposterous positions that nobody would ever want to see any of them again that were involved in that horse shit. Or elsewise we'd be saying good things about Britt Baker now.
Again, she's young. She's new in the business. She's happy to be there. She was one of the first people they signed. I can't be mad at her for not putting her foot down saying, I'm not doing this. It's stupid.
I was happy to be in the wrestling business when I first got in it, and I would have jumped off a fucking bridge, done any damage to my own body, but if they'd gone out there and said, have a match with the Invisible Man in front of people, or have a fake goddamn fight in your fucking dentist's office where you're obviously working with your opponent, or do any of this other stupid bullshit, I would have looked at them like they were crazy, because even I knew enough about wrestling to know that that was offensive at that point. Anyway,